Ja, men ich schalla mir schon de Barcelona. Reasonable snip this net about this news about the blood and was realizing your rods of the incidents not our little grass they are as you know boy and they was saying you know as a boy years are right but there are zim runs there run reason that there were women that out of them that there seem from our readers there was there was a national man not snake or robins not Rezna, Rezna, but it's not not some friends that were more boys than other boys as I was in your boys on them. Never snazzy guzzlip. That's actually the doggies is chirping backmasked. That's the only one I really know. I just know how to sound backmasked. If you rewind this stream and play it from the beginning backwards, the key to life and humanity will be revealed to you. But only if you do that. Whoa, pink panties. I've never had this strain before. It's nice. Watching the England game tonight? Bruh. I'm an American. I don't watch soccer. I'm sorry, bro. It's just the way it goes. But go jolly old England. Kick that ball, y'all. Is that good? Did I do it right? Am I winning, Dad? Thoughts on flatulency? I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing we can do it because we'd probably explode if we didn't, right? If we couldn't fart, like all that fucking gas would build up and we would just fucking like blow up like a balloon and pop. Farts are cool. I mean, yeah, farts are pretty good. Dude, behold, I saw a pale hippo. And the man who sat on him was death. And streams followed with him. What, I DDoS TJ? I didn't DDoS no TJ. Don't fucking accuse me of doing hacker shit. I didn't hack nobody. I ain't DDoS nobody. I'll tell you guys one thing, and this is really the only thing that you need to know. You know what I mean? And it's like if you know that and you do that, you'll succeed in life. But yeah, I watched Fire Walk with Me the other night, and then me and Amelia are going to start Twin Peaks: The Return soon. It should all make sense now, right? It all comes together now in your mind. Why up so late, dog? Why up so early, dog? This isn't late for me, bro. This is like 8 p.m. for me. This is like right around the time when my parents would sit down and start watching Law and Order, you know? Dun dun. Boom, bum, 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 bum. Boom, boom, bum, 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 boom, boom. Bow, 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 bum, 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 boom. Do 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 do. Dude, Law and Order, bro. What a fucking theme song, bro. Boom, 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 boom. Yep. In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate, equally important groups. More fireworks, really? More big-ass fireworks? Hitting the sesh? Yeah, buddy. Smoking some pink panties. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I'm finding out all kinds of new strains. Boom, boom, dun, 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 dun. Boom, boom, dun, 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 dun. Bow, 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 bow. Cuck-a-doodle-doo? Did you see that? Goddamn confused ass roosters. Cuck-a-doodle-doo. There we go, dude. He likes it. Cuck-a-doodle-doo. See? He likes it. He's a cuck-a-doodle. He's a cock-a-doodle-deedle. I want to watch some Law and Order SVU. Anybody down? Anybody want to sit around and binge watch the entirety of Law and Order SVU with me? Every episode back to back, nonstop, no pee breaks, no shit breaks, no eating breaks, no breathing breaks, just nothing but goddamn Law and Order SVU until my fucking eyes pop out of my head, bleed. Yep, DFF canceled for a month because Paul is binge watching Law and Order SVU. No time to record shows this month, guys. Sorry. Binging Law and Order SVU. See you next month. My favorite part of Law and Order SVU, I watched a lot of it when I was younger. My favorite part of SVU was Ice-T. I think that's everybody's favorite part of SVU, right? Ice-T is, he'll show up and he'll be like, yo, I got this warrant. You under arrest. fool. And I was just like, yeah, iced tea. I got that warrant right here. This warrant right here says I have every right to be in the building. You're like, you better get out of the way. You better get out of the way, dude. Iced tea's not fooling. Iced tea's not fooling. Boom. Well, now you don't have to miss the sounds of U.S. trains because you get to hear them all the time watching Paul. I do like it when they give me a good toot, but, you know, you don't get a toot every time. Wonder how many hobos are riding those rails. Probably not many, I would imagine. I've never seen anybody chilling on a fucking flatbed or anything. So I really doubt that very few people or very many people are still riding the rails. Boom, boom. That's a long. Oh, dude, I got. I remember one time I was on my way back from work, and it was like a fucking prophecy. All right, when I used to return from my job at the school district, I took this kind of like country road to cross from one freeway to the next because it was fast. It's like a back road that locals take. Whereas like if you were like a tourist in this area or you were just like navigating through this area, your navigation would take you kind of like the long way. It's like one of those like shortcuts, right? That locals know where you can kind of just like speed your way through a back country road and it cuts, you know, a few miles off your journey. So I was doing that and there's a railroad crossing there and the things came down, the guards came down, ding, 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 ding. And I was like, phew. And I'm sitting right there and I was like, all right. So I stop and nothing happens for a while. And then all of a sudden this train starts coming. It's like, tsh, tsh, tsh. You know what I mean? Like just barely engaged. And then finally, like it just like, and I was like, no, that's the sound of like that's the sound of like the air brakes letting out. That you're stopping, and this train just fucking stopped, backed up a little bit, and then it would go forward a little bit. I think it was like changing rail cars is what was going on. But I sat there for like on my way home from work for like 40 minutes, blocked in. So it's just like, enter city town, find dealer, kill dealer, acquire gun, money, and drugs, leave city via train, rinse and repeat. Is that what you do? Is that John X's way of moving around? That was meant to be the shortcut. Well, every other day, 364 days a year it was, but when you got stuck behind the train that never moved, it's not really a shortcut. Dude, that's what taxing society is up to, dude. He just told us his whole fucking MO. Goes to a city, acquires a dealer, kills the dealer, steals the dealer's stuff, and then hops a train out of the town with the bag. You pick up the bag and fumble it. I pick it up and flip it and tumble it. The only thing worse than that is if that happens to you on your way to work and it makes you late. Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. If you're on your way to work and that happens to you and it makes you late, that sucks. But I'd rather that happen. I'd rather it take a piece of company time than my time, dude. Sorry. I'd rather it take 45 minutes of company time than my time on the way home. What was that, dude? I need to memorize that new shithouse poem that somebody posted on the subreddit. It's boss makes $1, I make a dime. That was a poem from a simpler time. And then it goes on to say like now boss makes $1 million and I make shit or whatever. You know what I mean? There's a long one now. There's a longer version of boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I shit on company time. That's changed now. You guys have got a new Gen Z version. Say the equivalent of getting held up by a train in the UK is getting stuck behind a tractor on a one-lane country road. Don't you guys have like cows over there too? Like, you ever get like stuck at a cow crossing up there? That shit happens down here, I'll tell you that. You're driving kind of out country roads and shit, and you'll just kind of like see up ahead like a farmer with his truck parked across the road and just like a herd of cows slowly but surely like taking their goddamn fucking time. You're like, okay, here we go. Good old cows. Yeah, dude, the canoes died, bro. Did you guys see that shit? Nobody even cares, man. Nobody even looked at the canoes. That was the problem. I was like one of 2 people that was using it. Dude, the canoes was hella good. Hella good. It would like give you all the fucking headlines, right? All the major fucking headlines. And then it would give you every story. Like you could click coverage and it would give you every story. Like every fucking different outlet's story. So you could check the different fucking like, man, and they closed fucking canoes. They weren't forced to close. They just didn't make any money doing it. That's what it says on their website. If you go to canoes.com, it says like, you know, we set out with the canoes as an experiment to provide provenance with news reading. We definitely provided plenty of provenance, but we didn't turn a profit. So we're closed. It's just like, man, what the fuck? The canoes though, dude. The canoes was good. The canoes was helpful. Their sponsors were made to stop. Really? Made to stop doing what? Providing aggregate links? Like, why were they made to stop? Man, I'm pissed off now. Fucking canoes, dude. That was my fucking news site. That was the website I went to so that I didn't have to go looking all over these other fucking shit websites for news. I went to the canoes. No news is good news with Gary Gnu. Yeah, that's true. You got a point there. It's like the only other website that I can think of that does that, like multi-source aggregate stuff, is like, and it's fucking such a lame ass site to read, is the Drudge Report. So it's like, number one, skewed towards the right wing, but at least it provides, like, when it gives you headlines, it gives you like 10 fucking different pieces of coverage about it, you know? But that website is just impossible to read. The canoes was nice. You know, it had your different fucking, You had national, world, politics, climate, money, real estate. You click on that, and it would give you the biggest headlines from the day of that. And then you could click on coverage and see every fucking news organization that had covered it, what spin they were putting on it. It's like, man, that was helpful as a dude that does like a little weekly news show. It was really helpful to be able to find all that shit and, you know, see what all the different spin is. The Canoes was also taking away ads from the news sources they linked. How? They were linking those news sources so people could click on them and it took you directly to the news source. So how are they taking away ads? That doesn't make any sense. Bring back the goddamn Canoes. Like, I literally, like, I don't want to go back to reading the fucking Drudge Report and going to, like, all the cabler sites and shit and going to Al Jazeera to find out about one story. We hardly canoe them, dude. We hardly canoe them. Would I rather be a Mentat or a Guild Navigator? Mentat. Guild Navigators are all like, they I don't know, man. They probably have a pretty interesting inner life, but they live their entire life suspended in an anti-grav chamber filled with the spice melange. And they're all twisted and fucked up, you know, and they have to be like maneuvered around by, you know, guild servitors and shit. So it's just like, a Mentat can go where a Mentat pleases, you know. A Mentat can serve different houses and gets to travel and do interesting things. I guess a Guild Navigator gets to travel too, but they don't really get to do the interesting things. A Guild Navigator gets to travel without moving. Dune has undertones of propaganda. It's problematic, bruh. Bro, what's the propaganda? What's the undertone? I mean, I agree with you, but I'm wondering what you think it is. Not that it's problematic, but that there's, you know, undertones of political propaganda in Dune. I'm just wondering what you think they are. Being a human supercomputer sounds like a better shtick. I mean, you know, it depends on your shtick, right? Would you do the spice? Hell yeah, I'd do the spice, dude. I'd be all about the spice. Clear anti-corporate agenda. It's actually anti-nationalist agenda is what you're talking about. And yeah, I agree with that, yeah. Dune has an incredibly anti-nationalist undertone. Yeah, but horrible addiction. Who cares, dude? I'm horribly addicted to nicotine. I'd rather be horribly addicted to the consciousness expanding spice melange. Well, I mean, there are very, very obvious analogs in Dune to American expansionism. The idea of, you know, these different countries all having a proxy war over this other nation because they are rich with a resource. Does this start to sound familiar to you? Because that, I mean, if you strip away all the sci-fi, that's basically the plot of the first Dune book. Three separate warring factions hold a proxy war in order to gain control over another nation because their territory is rich with a natural resource that everybody in the galaxy needs. And whoever controls the source of that resource controls the galaxy. Sound familiar? Take that down to the fucking planetary level. Sounds a little familiar to me. So yeah, I tend to agree about the propaganda and such. Visible to all users, you're now invisible to all users. Take your fucking flag waving, hoo-ha, nationalism bullshit, trolling out of my fucking stream. I saw you over in TJ's stream just being like ignored. You don't get ignored over here. I touch you and you go away over here. Obvious troll is obvious, but you're wasting my fucking time, bro. Go waste TJ's time. Man, the canoes, bro. Your Lord God has dropped the hammer. No, I don't put up with shit here. People know that, though. People are slowly starting to figure that out. Paul runs a different kind of stream than the typical stream these days, which is the typical stream these days. I don't even understand what the point of being live is. Like, it drives me insane, dude. The typical stream these days is a dude or a chick, I guess, but like doing a stream, right? And just doing something that they would normally just record and upload, but doing it live and completely ignoring the chat 90% of the time because it's like it's like literal fucking nonsense. Just like fucking Pepe's and fucking emojis and goddamn memes as far as the eye can see, and nobody's even fucking talking. It's like, what's the point of being live, bro? What's the point of having a fucking live show with interaction and stuff? There's no interaction. What's what's the point? I don't understand it. Like a dude sitting and talking. Like I understand doing like a live music show, like a band or something. Like if you're doing if you're a musician or something and you want to fucking do like a live stream where you play music for people and stuff, that makes sense to me. But like just a dude sitting and talking, and there's no like two-way conversation because it's like dude, Metallica getting copyrighted by themselves. That's the greatest shit, bro. That shit is fucking amazing. Their fucking litigious ass pursuit of copyright on their music came back and fucked them up the ass. Should be a premiere rather than live. Agreed, Kazoom. 100% agreed. Unless you're gonna fucking interact with people. That's the way I feel about it. Now, like once again, you're doing a musical performance or something. There's some you're bringing a piece of music to the people. You do that, right? You don't necessarily need to interact with people, and they can gibberish it up in the live chat. And there's something to that, seeing a live performance or whatever. But like just me sitting here yakking at you guys, like if this, it would be pointless for me to do it. But so many people do this, and their chat is just unreadable gibberish. And it's just like, who are you talking to? Who are you talking at? It feels weird to me. Like, there's 89 people in here tonight. It's a pretty late one. And I'm cross-streaming with TJ, so, that always lowers the numbers. But, usually I've got like 100 people in here, and it's like maybe 25 of them are talking, right? The rest of them are watching. And it's interactive. And if somebody's watching and wants to jump in, they can. And it makes it worth, I think, sitting and listening to the kind of spaces in between and me coughing and, you know what I mean? All that non-professional shit that happens during these streams. It makes it worth it because it's interactive. But If you go and look at 90% of the people that do what I do, like this type of streaming, it's gibberish, and they put up with it. I don't put up with it here. I just can't do it. I'd rather there be less people watching me than have a bunch of fucking gibberish in my chat. I'm decent at filling the silence. Like, I'm a big fucking talker. That's all I do. Like, I could literally run my mouth from sundown to sun up. I don't really, I have a running narrative in my head all the time, and all I have to do is speak it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, it's worth a shit. It's like, for me, it's about the interaction. Ugh. Just gotta put up the pimp hand sometimes. You do. You're my spirit animal, Paul. DFF rocks. Thanks, vilified dipshit. Now go get a fucking profile pic, please. Usually too shy to say anything, but I like the fact that I can have the opportunity to jump in if I want, and there's actually a possibility of engagement there. Of course. Yeah, I think that's most people that watch, right? Like, I would say, like, out of the 100 or so regulars that come through here, sometimes we get 200, sometimes we get 50. But, I'd say average 100 so regulars that cruise through here every once in a while. I'd say probably like 80% of them don't ever talk, right? So about 20% of you guys are engaging. But the option is always there. I see a lot of people pop in sometimes when I'm really into a topic. They'll say, hey, Paul, I'm fucking at work right now on my break, but I just had to jump in and say yada, yada, yada. And you have that option here. Dude, on a fucking Pepe stream, good luck. I'm not going to see it. It's going to be buried by a bunch of goddamn fucking Pepes. Spam and people like repeating memes and thinking that they're funny doing it. That's the shit that doesn't get me, bro. Like, the first time I hear a meme, it might be funny, right? And then if somebody uses the meme cleverly, it might be funny after that. But like, just repeating the meme over and over again, like, that's what it's come to? I don't get it. So really, what I'm talking about here is like forcing a level of conversation that I feel doesn't exist anymore. Like forcing a level of interaction that I think was normal to me growing up in the fucking 80s and 90s, but is abnormal today. What do I demand a profile pic? Because it's very easy for people to create new accounts and come back and spam and shit. And adding a profile pic takes 10 seconds and shows me that you at least, are willing to do that much. Because 90% of the people that come in here with no PFP are previous people that have been banned previously for spamming or saying stupid shit or derailing or breaking one of the, 3 fucking rules that I have here. Just got done with my shift. I think about you, Paul, and your words of wisdom at work. No mama and dada's house. Yeah, dude. Paul, I want to crash on your couch and just sleep there 24/7. Use the toilet. Maybe eat anything you got. Let's left over. That cool with you? Come on down, bro. Mi casa es su casa, my friend. Come on down, crash on this couch, eat me out of house and home, bro. Just be my guy on the couch. Nap all day while I'm working. Wake up, smoke my weed, eat my ice cream, and then go back to the couch, Stock the Oreos. Yeah, dude, I don't keep Oreos around, man. As soon as I found out that an Oreo has about the same amount of calories as like a McDonald's cheeseburger or whatever, I was like, I know I'm a fat fuck, but maybe I shouldn't keep these around. That, and I've had a really like bad experience with Oreos one time, dude. I thought I was dying one time. Because like dude, I pooped, right? And I took a look at the poop and it was like midnight black. And I was like, black poop? And so I went to Google. This was years ago. This is like when I was in my fucking, late 20s or something. I was like, what the fuck? So I looked black stool or whatever, and it's like, black stool often indicates that there's blood in the stool. And I was like, oh my fucking God, dude, I've got ass cancer. And then I stopped and remembered, dude, you ate a whole fucking pack of Oreos yesterday. You literally sat there and dunked an entire family-sized pack of double stuffed Oreos in milk and ate the whole thing. That's why you're shitting black. How the hell do they get so many calories in them? Fuck if I know, bro. I don't know how they do it. But they're not really even all that good, so I don't get them. Happened to you as well. See, I feel better about myself now. I'm not the only one. It was a cookies and cream log, dude. Yeah. I mean, Oreos are okay. They're tasty. I'm not gonna lie, but there are other things that you can eat that have like less calories in them that are better, in my opinion. Like I would rather have like a slice of cheesecake or something, or a couple of scoops of ice cream than I would have like. You could have a whole ass slice of cheesecake or a stack of Oreos like that, right? Calorie wise, probably even less. Probably like 3 or 4 Oreos or a decent like slice of cheesecake. I'd rather have that. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna eat like fucking, you know, 300 calories of sugar or some shit, I'm just gonna, I want it to taste good. I want it to be something that isn't like a small stack of Oreos. No, dude, I can't sit and eat like a fucking giant wedge of cheesecake. It's too rich. You want like that sliver piece. You know what I mean? Like that's the size of cheesecake I like. When I get a hankering for cheesecake, I don't want like a big ass fucking quarter pie wedge of cheesecake. That's too much goddamn cheesecake, bro. It's too rich. Give me a little sliver. Just like you know what I'm talking about? Like that piece. The little graham cracker crust thing on it, little drizzle of fucking raspberry fliddle diddle on top, and just hand me that. Put a mint leaf on top of that shit. A big glass of milk, yeah. That sounds good to me. Ugh. You guys give me a sec. I gotta go put my hair up. It's fucking sweaty out here. And get a drink. Feel the rhythm with your hands. All my friends are brown and red. Spoon Man. Spoon Man. Come together with your hands. Save me. Come together with your plan. Save me. You don't suit green? I don't? Well, it's a good thing I didn't dress for you, huh? It's a good thing I don't fucking consider what you think when I get dressed in the fucking morning, huh? Spoon Man, come together with your hands, save me. Come together with your plan, save me. Ow. Okay, there we go. That feels so much better. I'm so glad I learned how to do that shit. I'm telling you, man, when I first started growing my hair out, I didn't know how to put my hair in a ponytail, much less like a bun that would actually keep that shit off my neck. It feels so nice. It almost feels like I have a fucking haircut when I do this. It's like a haircut, and I've got like a 4-pound ball on the back of my head. It's closed. Shirt looks comfy. It is. And you can have one. Yeah. Go get your Paul shirt. Come on, man. You know you want it. You know you need it. You know you can't get enough of it. You know what feels more like having a haircut? Having a haircut. True. But you know what also makes you a fucking square? Boop-a-da-boop-a-da-boop. 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 Having a haircut. Where do you get it? I think there's might be a link down below in the description, but if there isn't, just go to Deep Fat Fried and look at the description. It's everywhere. Who designed this shirt? I don't remember the dude's name. Very talented guy, though, that we worked with. We hired an artist to do these shirts. There's one for each of the members of the show. So pick your favorite. It's different colors, too. Mine doesn't just come in green. You know, it's like mine comes in pink, green, and black. In this type, the raglan type, the 3/4 sleeve type. And then it's got a bunch of other colors and the regular stuff. And you can get a hoodie, too, with it. Yeah, me too. 3/4 sleeve is my shit. I would wear nothing but these types of shirts if I could get away with it during the summer. But they're a little, you know, like in the fucking blazing ass sun, they're not the coolest shirt. But I need another bowl. This world scares me every day. I can't shower in peace anymore because I have panic attacks when I overthink. Bruh. I don't know what to tell you, man. I get the same way. I was talking to my wife about it last night. You know, not to get into too much detail because, you know, personal talks and stuff, but I was just telling her, like, almost every day I feel less connected to the place I live. Granted, I had just finished watching part 1 of that new Alex Gibney documentary, Crime of the Century, about the opioid crisis and Purdue Pharma and the Sackler family and how they basically murdered 100,000 people and got paid billions of dollars to do it. And I was just like, man, there's no fucking justice. I came out here and I was just in such despair. I really was, you know? And, my wife is who I lean on when I'm really in despair. And I just told her, I said, I just want to leave here. I just want to get out. I just want to go. I was like, there's no justice left here. There's no hope of changing it or fixing it. And I want to be as far from this fucking malignant tumor of a place as I can get. A tumor being America or Earth. Well, I get what you're saying. In this case, the tumor being America. What did she tell you? Like I said, I don't want to sit here and recap my conversations and stuff with my wife, but let's just say that, we're built well for one another. She is grounded where I am not sometimes, and she has a way of focusing my angst and helping me understand it. I know so much and feel like this world, if it was on the same page, people could evolve, like the system could magically not matter anymore. We live in a perpetual nightmare. Yeah, it's a hellscape, bro. It really is. And people that think it isn't, it drives me fucking insane. Like the fucking, I found you can find happiness in slavery. Like I'm not saying like if you're happy in your own fucking existence, I don't think you need to be at constant war with existence. I'm just saying like people that are just like okay with the way things are, okay with the injustice and okay with the death and okay with the fucking hypocrisy and okay with the fucking oligarchy, okay with the return of the robber baron, and okay with what happened during this fucking pandemic, and okay with all this shit. Bro, I don't know what to tell people like that. It's just like, man, your fucking standards are non-existent. What do you want for your life? What do you want for your people? Your friends, your family, your fucking brothers and sisters in humanity. Like, what do you want? Why is this okay? Why are you fucking smiling? Why are you pretending the world isn't fucking on fire? Why can't you see? And if you do see, then why do you ignore? And if you do ignore, then how do you fucking stand it? I don't know. I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's God's plan. Don't you love that shit, dude? It's God's plan, bro. What are you pushing for? I'm not pushing anything, man. I know that when people get passionate, they're usually trying to push something on you. Right now, I'm just lamenting the fact that I feel at odds with so many people in the country. Like, philosophically, I feel like I see problems everywhere I look, and I feel like a lot of people don't. I feel like a lot of people see a problem here or there, but would be perfectly happy for things to just kind of like doodly doodly toddle along, and I don't see that. I don't feel that way. I can't feel that way. And so I feel like I'm at odds with a lot of people. And I feel I feel like tacitly invested in this country, and I no longer want to be. That's really the crux of what I was kind of talking about with Amelia last night. What I'm talking about with you guys now is like I don't believe in this country anymore. I don't believe that this country can be reformed or will be reformed. I don't believe in the message that this country sends anymore. I'm embarrassed and ashamed at what this country does with its power. And I'm embarrassed and ashamed at the people that are representing me on the international stage. And I'm embarrassed and ashamed of my neighbors. And I'm embarrassed and ashamed of my local politicians. And I'm embarrassed. I'm just fucking utterly embarrassed to be here. And it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. You know what I mean? To live in a place and to be trapped in a place that embarrasses the fuck out of you because it's just so stupid. You know, I'm embarrassed of this place. I'm ashamed of this place. And I have been for a fucking decade or more. I've literally not been able to look at this place and feel any kind of pride in what it is or what it does or my little piece of it or where it's going in a fucking decade or more. And you know, it's just like it's like being the living dead here in America when you feel that way. Just watching shit slowly but surely circle the drain and watching everybody smile as they ride the log down, you know what I mean? And you're just like, what the fuck is going on? What's happened? And you know what the sad thing is? Nothing changed. That's the sad thing. Nothing changed. It's not like the world was better back when I was a kid. Maybe it was marginally for the working person, but everything fucking sucked then too. You know what I mean? So what changed was me, my perception of the nationalistic kind of propaganda I was raised under changed. That's what changed. I used to think America was a beacon of good and, you know, shit in the world, and now I don't. I was raised to think that, and now I don't think that. And now I'm living in a country that proclaims to be that constantly and never lives up to it. And I hate to say this, but I've just lost a lot of my fucking care. I don't, for the plight of the people here. And I know that sounds fucking gross and sad, and I wish I didn't feel that way. I really do. But I just look at like this fucking country's like a canker sore. I just want to get out. I just want to divest myself from the woes and concerns of the people that live here as much as I fucking can. That's my impulse, is to go. Get the fuck out. Anywhere, bro. I don't want to fucking sit and talk about where I want to go and shit. I've done that before. I've got a couple of ideas, but look, man suffers because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. Alan Watts. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I love Alan Watts. I really do. But I don't vibe with his Zen spiritualism shit. This country's creative spark started to die in 1998. Everything has been about refinement since then. Everything started to become formula and sterile. I tend to agree, Kazoom, and like maybe that has plays a role in the way that I feel, because you know I try and be objective as you can be with memory, which you understand probably better than most people is probably the most subjective thing that a human being can walk forward with. But I try my best to be objective with memory. And in doing that, I come to the conclusion that shit sucked back in fucking 98 too. You know what I mean? It sucked back in 98. What the problems that are extant now were there then. But you're right. There was a creative spark in this country. There was a little slice of something real here, and it's gone. Oh, it sucked, but we should have moved so much forward. Yeah, yeah. It's the tires have spun, and in a lot of metrics, things have gone backwards, right? Oh, I hear foxes. Foxes are out there hunting tonight. I hear them. My little fox family. Why don't you vibe with it? If you don't mind me asking, you're talking about America? I feel like that's what I've been talking about. Oh, Alan Watts. Why don't I don't know. I think Alan Watts has a lot of psychological insight, but I think he wants to weave in his personal spiritualism to it and present that as part of that insight. And I don't know. It tends to shut me down, you know, like when somebody starts bringing that shit. My brain just goes, The spiritualism is what I mean. I have my own spirituality for sure. We talked about that the other night. You know what I mean? I feel a very visceral connection with nature at times, and I will have these moments in nature where I feel very connected to things. And I've told you guys about some of the special memories that I have from nature. You know what I mean? Going out into the ocean at sunset and being and seeing a pelican skimming the top of a wave, and knowing that I'm probably the only human being on the planet that's seeing that happen, and feeling that obviously false notion, but feeling it all the same, that that moment was created for me because of that. Because I was the only one that observed it. That moment, that beautiful moment of that pelican just hovering beautifully right above the crest of a wave and following it as it angled towards shore with the sun going behind it. I saw that, right? You didn't. Nobody saw that. Nobody was out in the ocean right there. You know what I mean? If you were on the beach, you didn't see it. I was chest deep in the ocean, letting the waves hit me in the face. You know? So that to me was very special. Almost spiritual in nature because of the way it stuck with me. But it's personal. Sorry, guys. Post-nasal drip is killing me right now. Wonder how things would have played out had America never opened trade with the Chinese. I don't know, bro. There was a small propeller engine airstrip near where this pelican lived, and he would mimic the sounds the planes would make when he flew. That's funny. I've never seen the ocean. Deep water scares me. No telling what could be down there. Me too. But I'm also like, I've got a real connection with the ocean as well. I'm one of those people that like, I don't know. I don't know if there's any science to back this up, so I might be talking out of my ass. But I feel that there may be a genetic basis for different climates, like being like preferring certain type of climates. And for me, like I've always felt called by the ocean, not just being near it, but being on it. I love being on ships. I don't get seasick at all. And so I have to imagine that there might be some sort of genetic basis in my past. Like I probably come from, you know, well, I know I'm mostly Irish, and so, there's boats and boating and fishing and all of that shit is a big deal there. And so I have to imagine that maybe there's some sort of genetic basis for people who are more drawn to the sea, right? And if that is true, I'm one of those people. I wasn't raised near the ocean, so it's like country roads take me home kind of nostalgia. It's just, every time I've been to the ocean a bunch and bunch and bunch. And so like every time I go there, I feel a lightness of being. and I have to touch it. I have to touch the ocean. I have to be out in it. I love feeling the power of the ocean. Like I love being out in the ocean and feeling those waves hit me. It's like a tangible example of the power of the planet. That's what I do. I wade out into the ocean about chest depth and I tread water and I float over the waves and I let myself experience that driving, you know, gravitational force that pulls that water in and pulls it back out. And you're in there, you know, you're part of that. It's just like, whoa, it's scary and exciting and invigorating because the water is cold, and I don't know, there's something about it. I have to do it every time I'm there. I have to see it. I have to feel it. There is a release of control to it because I realize, and anybody that goes out into the ocean needs to be cognizant that the ocean can kill you at any second. It may look placid and calm, but it can rip you under. It can take you out to sea and drown you. It can eat you. It can poison you. I mean, there's any number of things that I could die of walking out into the ocean in California. There are rockfish that live out there. You can look them up. They're fucking horrible. I mean, they're beautiful fish, but they have these spines on their backs. They sit down in the rocks as you're kind of like walking out into the ocean. Luckily, the beaches that I go to are usually sandy. Yeah, jellyfish, sharks, riptides. Yeah. The ocean can kill you like that. And so you're kind of giving yourself over to the power of that and saying, well, you know, if that's the way I go out, and it's not like a suicidal impulse, it's just like, well, you know, I'm not going to try and go out that way, but I want to be out in that ocean, so I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. A risky biscuit. Getting eaten by a great white is like winning the lottery. It's like winning the lottery and being struck by lightning twice in the same day. It's incredibly rare to be attacked by a shark or eaten by a shark. It just doesn't happen very often, but it could. It's, you know, a crab could snip off your little toe. Yeah, it could happen, man. I don't think it's necessarily probable, but it could happen. I would probably be okay with it, though. My little toes are pretty much vestigial, you know what I mean? They just kind of hang out over there. I can't really move them independently. They're just like lumps of shit. So, you know, I'd be fine losing my pinky. Have you seen a red Invincible? No, I haven't. How dank is that stuff your neighbor gave you? It's dank. I mean, it's Cali, dude. There's nothing but dank here. They don't make shit weed in Cali. Especially now that it's fucking legal here. It's like, the gloves are off, man. Well, I mean, it's like, fucking Slick Rick said back in the 80s, it's like the lotto. You got to be in it to win it. So that's the whole point, right? You got to play the lotto to win the lottery. So it does increase your chances of winning the lottery to visit the vendor and buy a lottery ticket. which means that it increases your chances of your chances of getting eaten by a great white shark if you never leave Kansas are literally zero. Well, maybe not zero. You might fall into an aquarium somewhere in Kansas, I guess. There might be an aquarium with a great white in it, but it's very much lower than it is if you live near the ocean, right? Or spend a lot of time in the ocean. You swim where they film Jaws. That's because where they film Jaws is a huge. I can't remember which beach it is, but it's like a California public beach. There's shark nets and shit. There's no great whites there. I mean, there might be, but they don't come up that close to the beach, so you fine. I'm not. No smooch, bro. Yeah, no smooch. Did they put the nets there because of Jaws? No, they put the nets there to keep fucking sharks off the beach. You know what I mean? You got a big, long fucking stretch of beach. You don't let sharks swim on it. Did one of the Kennedys die at Martha's Vineyard? I don't know. Do you notice a difference between the weed in the 90s and the weed now? Yeah. They filmed Jaws on Martha's Vineyard. I just hate that question. Stupid weed questions. Yeah, there's a difference. They filmed Jaws on Martha's Vineyard. My great aunt remembers watching them tug that big shark around in Bay and Oak Bluffs. That's cool. Too bad evolution didn't happen insanely fast. Could have already had land sharks that prey on humans. Huh? That's not the way it works, bro. Like, we are land sharks. Yeah, bears are land sharks. Tigers are land sharks, okay? Yeah? We get it now? You know what the fucked up thing about bears is? Evolutionary, their path of evolution was like we all came from the sea, right? So the bear ancestor flops up onto the beach and becomes a bear. And then it went back in the goddamn water and became a fucking whale. Mind. And dude, don't even get me started on whale evolution. You're absolutely fucking right, dude. Yes, that's real. The ancestors of modern whales were like bear-like creatures that lived on land. And then they slowly but surely became more aquatic. And then now they're fucking whales, bro. And look, baleen. That's a whole fucking thing that people, like, you don't understand. Baleen. Teeth became baleen. Baleen is like this fucking thick, dense straw type of shit that filters tiny creatures out of the water for filter feeder whales. So, like, not all whales are obviously filter feeders, but like blue whales, for example, they eat with baleen. They open their mouth and there's baleen in there. It's called baleen. It's just like, and they just and filter all the krill out of the ocean, and they just kind of hoover up these huge clouds of krill. But that evolved from teeth. So at some point, this is one of those things that blows my mind about evolution, right? At some point, a tooth was halfway between a tooth and baleen. It had to be. Right? There had to be an animal that had half teeth and half baleen. What the fuck did that animal do? Or its teeth were halfway to baleen. Like, what the fuck did that animal eat? How did it eat? What caused that mutation? What caused it, and how did it get from A to B? That's what, you know, and I'm not an evolutionary biologist. That's probably why it blows my mind. An evolutionary biologist would probably be able to walk me through that, right? But it's just like, for me, it's like, okay, so you're telling, so if you read about it, a bear-like creature became whales, right? So they went from carnivorous or omnivorous land creatures, and then they went and they started as carnivorous sea creatures, and then they diversified into all these different types of whales, right? Some of them retained the more bear-like nature up front with the teeth and biting kind of mechanic, and some of them went this whole fucking other direction and got baleen. So, between bear and baleen, what animal's right there? Bear is here. Baleen whale is here. What's that animal right there? How does it eat? What does it eat? Does it have teeth? Does it have baleen? Does it have half baleen, half tooth? Let's develop lungs and air dependency, then head back to the ocean, stupid whale bears. I know, bro. What a fucking goofy evolutionary quirk, bro. Let's develop a land animal's dependence on fucking processing oxygen with lungs, and then let's head back in the goddamn ocean. Where, you know, and let's move our fucking breathing tube to the top of our head, you know, so we can take a breath. Dude, evolution is, anybody that says that there's design behind evolution is fucking insane. Dude, if there is design behind evolution, whatever God is doing it is a goddamn fucking mad scientist, bro. Not some divine creator. He's a mad fucking scientist, bro. He's mixing up some crazy fucking animals. I think we might be fungal ape hybrids. Mushroom changed human evolution cognitively, 100%. You're talking about stoned ape theory, Terrence McKenna shit. I can get with it. Yeah, I can get with it. I don't know necessarily that it's true, but I can get with it. It sounds plausible. I don't think there's any way for us to know. That's the fucked up thing, is like certain mysteries of early human evolution and the evolution of our very close cousins now extinct, they're going to be shrouded by the mists of time forever. When it comes to our society, how we functioned, you know, how language developed, how individuation developed, how... I love the beginning of the book, A Conspiracy Against the Human Race by Thomas Ligotti. I push this book on you guys a lot. It starts, and I've also pushed this imagery on you guys a lot because it really sticks with me. You know what I mean? He posits the beginning. He talks about the beginning of consciousness. In fact, A Conspiracy Against the Human Race is a book lamenting the problems and mistake of consciousness and how we deal with it. And he talks about, at some point in the history of our evolution, there were, you know, our ape-like ancestors, you know what I mean? Whatever the closest kind of cousin we have to that. At some point in our history, a group of these people, a group of these proto people were in a group, and one of them died, right? And instead of just moving the body away from the camp, which probably went on for hundreds of thousands of years because, you know, just they learned that it's disease or whatever, Instead of that, everybody gathers around and stares at the body. And instead of taking it away from the camp, they take it farther away and bury it because they don't want to think about what they know now. That's the first spark of consciousness was realizing, holy fuck, that died and so will I. And so that is, a posited reason for the current way that we do things, how we bury the dead. And so he talks about how they would carry these bodies away to some remote area and bury them in the ground so that they didn't have to think about them anymore. But some of those apes found themselves visiting the graves and not really knowing why, like late at night. They would go back to sit near where that person that died used to be. And it's like, and of course, this is just him theorizing. It was probably a great deal more complex than that in terms of developing what we understand as the notion of consciousness. But it's really humbling to think about. Yeah, I played that game. I think it's Ancestor, a Human Story, I think it's called. You ever bummed out you won't get the whole human experience? No, not really. I mean, I think that the best you can do when it comes to understanding the human experience is to try and understand yourself, because you may be an individual. There maybe have never been an individual exactly like you over history, but you share 99% of your proclivities with the rest of the world. And it's like, learn about yourself. Oh, Human Odyssey. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 2,000 years from now, there will be some future record of our world as it is today that everyone believes is fact, and it'll all be wrong. Well, we know that's true. We know the historical record is tainted by the bias of the historian. Of course, there are historians that are better when it comes to that bias, but there's always a bias in history, and history is written by the victors. So not only that, but if there is a human society 100 years from now, they'll look back at this time and think we were fucking barbarians. They're literally going to think we were fucking like caveman level barbarians. That's just the way it works. I mean, we are, yeah. We've raped the world. We've raped one another to the point of, there being nothing but war and famine and death and economic and climate collapse. And, you know what I mean? It's just all, like I said earlier, it's a hellscape that we've created for ourselves. And, dude, for us to think that we'll be judged by anything but that is fucking the ultimate hubris. That people think, oh man, the people that come after us will venerate our scientific exploration and they're not gonna give a fuck about us going to the moon. They're not gonna give a fuck about us inventing cars or chemotherapy or fucking surgery or any of that shit. They're gonna give a fuck about the sludge that we left behind. That's all they're gonna care about, man. They're gonna care about the toxic, disgusting, plastic-filled, lifeless, dead ocean and the miasmic fucking haze that hangs over all our fucking dead-ass cities. They're gonna give a fuck about how we raped the planet, and that's it. The way profit outweighed everything else. Yep. We'll be looked at as greedy, nihilistic, self-serving consumption machines that literally raped the planet of all of its fucking diversity and all of its wildlife and all of its abundance in furtherance of our own fucking just ego. That's what we will be remembered by if we survive what's coming at all. If humanity survives the coming fucking multi-collapse, which is what I think we need to start calling it. It's not just a collapse, because a collapse, you know, it almost implies that there's a precipitation of like a collapse in one area. Economic collapse. We're looking at the multi-collapse here. Economic collapse, climate collapse, political collapse, fucking resource collapse. We're on the precipice of all of this. So if humanity somehow fucking threads the needle and survives all that, the ones that do survive are going to judge us solely on how big of a dump we took on the environment. Because they're going to have to deal with our toxic waste and our shitty fucking hot ass planet and our nasty acidified ocean bubbling up with fucking plastic bottles and microplastics and shit, and our toxic air and our fucking just goddamn ruined world. And if you think they're going to give a fuck about Shakespeare and his sonnets or about fucking anything that we value, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. We will be judged not by the great people that have come along and the wonderful things that we've created, but how we raped the planet. The value of brands. Yeah. Here, have some money just because. Well, thank you. Shakespeare, in that perspective, is just another raper of the planet. Well, I mean, look, I'm not saying they won't study it academically should it survive. I'm just saying they're not going to look at us as some kind of nuanced species. They're going to look at the toxic sludge that we left behind, the radioactive fucking graveyard that we leave behind. And they're going to lament the loss of a paradise. They're going to see in the pre-war, pre-collapse world a Garden of Eden that we were not cast out of, that we destroyed with our hubris. And they'll be right. The great filter, yeah, starting to come around to you, starting to understand that little theory. Starting to understand that little theory that in a galaxy that should be theoretically abundant with spacefaring species, we haven't seen any or met any, because before a fucking sentient species gets to that, they discover some technology that destroys them, or hit some kind of barrier that destroys them, or unlock some secret of the universe that unleashes too much power. Like, I don't know, like, what theoretically could that be? Like splitting the fucking atom and harnessing the immense destructive power of that? Something like that. You realize this world is bristling with death? There are silos underground all over the United States filled with literal city-obliterating weapons, all pointed and ready to be fired at a moment's notice at any trajectory at any place on this fucking planet. Fear-mongering? What? Dude, somebody ban that fucking idiot, please. Thank you. If you're 12, you shouldn't be here. This is an adult chat. Anime profile pic, stupid ass, dumbass, empty brain, trollish sounding take, ban it. Don't time it, ban it. 100%. Nuke. Timeouts are for people who, you know, are like not quite getting it, but may get it. You know what I mean? Bans are for stupid fucking 12-year-olds. We're having an adult conversation here. And will continue to. There's definitely an inherent selfishness to what I was talking about earlier, wanting to hit the eject button and all that shit. Time to clean this pipe out, bro. This pipe is a mess. Pipe is a mess, bro. I might have to go get my bong. I'm pretty tired of smoking out of this little spoon pipe anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna go get my fucking bong. Fuck this thing. I'll be right back. This is a bong night. We need a bong. Where's the bong? Falling in love. Now I'm only falling apart. Nothing I can do. Total eclipse of the heart. Sorry, I had to change the bong water. It was time for a rinse and a little bit of maintenance on the bong, so I had to take a little extra time there. Sorry. But it's worth it to keep your bong clean. You gotta keep it clean, bro. I'm forever is gonna start tonight. That's better. That's the good stuff. Paul, do you have and smell? I could send you evolution and archaeology. What? An email. I don't. I don't have an email that I share with people publicly, so sorry, bro. Sorry, bro. Excuse me. Aliens might not have evolved in a tribalistic manner like us. What? Oh yeah, get a fucking PFP, bro. I wish weed would just become legal everywhere. I wish it would too. That would be nice. Hey, you can send me a Twitter DM or something if you want to. If you've got shit you got to send me. But I'm not really good at responding to people. I don't use social media as a way to socialize. Maybe that's a little counterproductive or whatever, but it's just the truth. I just don't. Social media is a place where I go to make proclamations, dude. Yeah, I'm a proclaimer on social media. I'm not there to fucking make friends with you. I'm not there to meet you or interact with you. I'm there to make proclamations. I'm there to stir the shit. I'm there to like engage in fucking Twitter warfare. I'm there because I'm bored and angsty, like 99% of Twitter. The only difference between me and 99% of Twitter is I admit that I'm there because I'm bored and angsty, not because I'm trying to change the world on Twitter. Like, I do think it's fucking, like, useful as a place for people to go look and see, you know, some basic ideas that I put out there, but I'm not trying to make it that. Twitter's a fucking shithole. Share your hate for Bezos and his dismissiveness of the potential to help. Yeah, of course. I don't get why anybody would, without a product or personality to sell, would be on Twitter. Yeah, I don't know, because everybody wants to be the product. That's the point. If they doubled their character limit again, I would certainly make it better for actually discussing things. Agreed. But as it stands, it's a fucking shithole. And, you know, like, it's a shithole anyway because of its uneven enforcement and its fucking, you know, silencing of certain political fucking ideas. Not that I'm standing up for those ideas, but I'm standing up for the fucking right of those ideas to be presented. So Twitter's trying to act like it's not the new public square. You know what I mean? And it is. And there's no way that we can trust a fucking corporation to run that properly, because they're going to monetize it and brand it and silence certain people and promote certain people, and that's not what the public square does. The public square is a soapbox that you stand on, right? And if you're talking bullshit, people go, bullshit, and they walk away and you're talking to yourself. But if you're talking shit that actually resonates with people, they go, okay, I'll listen to you. And sometimes those ideas are good and sometimes they're bad, but I'm fiercely defensive of people's rights to fucking present their own ideas, good, bad, or otherwise, because I don't like the alternative. I like the alternative less than I like the negative ideas. I think it's better if somebody's a fucking Nazi to have them be out there. I'd rather count them among the Nazis than to have them be like Oh, yes, I love everyone. And then, in their personal life and in their actions, they're a fucking Nazi. You feel me? Like, that to me is the difference. Let them be out there. Let them put their poisonous fucking garbage out there and let reasonable people fucking provide the counter narrative. And if reasonable people can't do it, then we have a dearth of reasonable people. Because it's not hard to defeat a self-defeating narrative. It's pretty easy to fucking shatter. So get out there and make the fucking argument. I don't dig this censorship fucking angle. I just don't, man. And I definitely don't trust these big giant fucking social media conglomerates to correctly handle policing the fucking public square. It's just like, but now we're walking down dangerous territory, because now we're starting to get close to doing again yet another discussion on Paul's 3-account solution to save the integrity of the internet. The idea that I have that is probably the most controversial idea that I put forward in terms of how much like division it creates. I mean, fucking A, bro. And it's to me, it's so fucking simple and so, well, maybe not simple to implement, but it's such a simple idea to get behind. Two months later in the exact same narrative? What? Oh? Well, it's 3. It's 3 accounts. What do you think about Canada's awful upcoming new C-36? I really don't know much about it, to be honest with you, Kazoom. If it's something you can elucidate in a comment or two, give me the broad strokes, but I don't expect you to do it. I can go Google it later, but I'll check into it. Canadian politics, unfortunately, don't get a whole lot of coverage down here. World politics really don't, so I'm pretty ignorant on Canadians and Mexicans and Great Britons and I don't know how they're doing shit over there. I don't know what they're up to. Yeah, we just don't get that coverage. You can fine people $20,000 for a first offense, $50,000 next offense for saying things online that can be interpreted as hate speech. Ridiculous. Boo, boo, boo. Suppressive of speech, unevenly applied. Who's fucking, all the fucking all the old arguments. Who's fucking policing the police? Who decides what's hate speech and what's not? What's the process by which something is determined to be quote-unquote hate speech? How do you determine whether it's fucking... I don't know. It's just all this... It's ridiculous. Speech suppression never works. You know how you beat ideas? You confront them. There's a C-36 from 2014, which is totally different from this one. Okay, all right. I'll make sure to fucking note that when I go look into it. But yeah, that sounds just poisonous as fuck. It's the march against freedom of expression, the march against freedom of association, and the march against freedom of speech continues. And it seems like a lot of the goddamn population is just happy with that shit. That's another reason why, to bring it back to what we were talking about earlier, why I'm having such fucking eject vibes right now. This country, this region, this culture it's eating itself, and I don't want to be here to watch it fucking eat itself. You know what I mean? I want to go somewhere where there's at least a fucking semblance of fucking normalcy and a semblance of fucking rationality and reason. If such a place fucking exists, I want to try and be there. I'd rather croak on that soil than this. I'd rather go somewhere where I'm free to associate. I'd rather go somewhere where I'm free to express myself. Or freer, I guess, to use a non-existent word. You know? Australia, never. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll look into it. I like to keep my eyeballs on people who are moving against me. And you may think that a Canadian hate speech bill isn't people moving against me, but it is. I'm not a hateful person. I'm not a racist. I'm not a sexist. I'm not a misogynist. I'm not an anti-gay bigot. I'm none of that shit. But these types of laws are almost always perniciously applied. See every other fucking censorship law that's ever been passed. Every other fucking surveillance law that's ever been passed. Well, maybe. I don't know if any of them have it right, but they're closer to it, right? That's my idea. I want to go to a place that where the populace and the government, it's closer to reasonable and rational. There's no place I can go that isn't touched by capitalism. There's no like fucking socialist utopia I can retreat to. That just doesn't exist. Right. We don't actually have freedom of speech in Canada, not like the States, right? You don't have it specifically enumerated in your founding documents, right? Your governmental charters or whatever. But there is some semblance of fucking freedom of speech in Canada, right? I mean, obviously. There's some sort of enumerated law protecting your right to say this and that. Otherwise, they wouldn't fucking have to create these other laws saying that they'll fine you 20 grand for saying something that they perceive as hateful or hate speech. Well, America has restrictions on hate speech as well. Like, I don't know. Like, once again, the charter, we have freedom of expression, but there's a bunch of caveats for sure. I mean, as well there should be. I mean, freedom of expression doesn't mean you get to go plop your dick in somebody's mouth against their will, You may want to express that, but your freedom of expression, well, how's it, what's that fucking analogy? Your freedom to windmill your arms in public ends at my nose, right? So there has to be some, for us to live with one another, there has to be some kind of fucking limit. But, it's oftentimes just obvious shit. Express yourself all you fucking want. Just don't hurt anybody. Hi, Paul, crying on my bed because my mom was drunk and being super transphobic. That sucks. I'm sorry you had to put up with that. Try and forgive her. You know what I mean? She knows not what she does. Drunks are a sad lot, man. They really are. And they're to be pitied more than reviled. I'll tell you that much. So just know that. I grew up around alcoholism, and I know how it is. I know what it is, and I know what it does to people. I know what it makes people into. And it's ugly. And I'm sorry you had to put up with that. It kind of breaks my heart that you had to put up with that. Because, I grew up in a similar environment, so I empathize. Just know that it won't go on forever. Eventually you'll get out of there. Or she'll get help. But drunks are a sad fucking group of people, man. Just self-destructive and counterintuitive and destructive to pretty much everybody around them. And it's all just because of some big black hole in the center of them, like I have. We all have that. But the alcoholic fills it with booze. And, dulls it with that. And it's I'm sitting here smoking a bunch of fucking pot and shit, so I really can't fucking talk shit, right? But it's a particularly pernicious drug. Alcohol has always been that way. There are just some people that cannot fucking function with it. Like if I was out there fucking beating on people or not participating in society or whatever, being some kind of fucking asshole because I was out here smoking weed, yeah, I'd hear, But, what does this lead to? I get the fucking munchies. I get talkative. Drinking is a whole different beast, It's a whole different fucking ball of wax. Oh, I've been a bona fide drunk, dude. My 20s are a fog, bro. Like, people think I do a lot of drugs now because they see me out smoking weed all the time. And I'm telling you, dude, this is tame compared to my 20s and, like, very early 30s and shit. I was a drunk. I was an out-and-out drunk. No, I didn't have withdrawals. I'm very fucking lucky, too, because I have all the genetic markers for alcoholism. I carry it. It's on both sides of my family, you know what I mean? And I was able to just kind of, like, walk away from it. And it didn't hurt me at all. But that's, once again, I just feel very fortunate that I was able to do that, or that I, realized that it was time to do that and did it at the time I did. Yeah, because that coupled with, the other shit I was abusing. Did you talk about being null and void as a human being? Fuck. Drink? No, well, don't do this, but drinking on pills, right? Drinking on opiates, which is incredibly dangerous, is one of the most indescribably horrible yet wonderful feelings on the fucking planet. It's just, ugh. There's something that's like attractive about it, but it's always fucking a negative. You know what I mean? It's always a negative. But that was my devil, when it came to drugs. It was never alcohol. Alcohol was something I did for fun, but it never ruled me. The only drug that ever ruled me was opiates. And it ruled me for a very, very short period of time. I was very lucky to get clean before I really developed a super dependency on it. But I went through about a year of my life where I was pretty heavily abusing opiates. And had I continued that, I'd be fucked, bro. Just pills were everywhere. Pills were everywhere. They were so fucking easy to get. Everybody had a prescription. Everybody knew a guy who knew a guy. It was just so easy to get. And so fucking, like, if you've never been on an opiate and you're, you don't understand. Like, there's this fucking euphoria that washes over you. Yeah, Artie Lang. Heroin and cocaine pretty much killed his career. I know a lot of pill heads. They're messed up for life. Yeah, dude. So I'm very lucky. Oh, yeah, dude. Anywhere in the world you can. That's kind of the point. Well, anywhere in the United States. Like that documentary I talked about, that Alex Gibney documentary on HBO right now called Crime of the Century. It's all about that. How just like these super concentrated, high dose, chemically enhanced opiates became so ubiquitous that it can crush them up and snort them up their noses and shit. I mean, it's fucking crazy. They're everywhere, every town. Yeah, let me just like, not that it's my job to do this, but do not try these drugs, especially these fucking high-end synthetic opiate shit, this fentanyl shit, oxy shit. Don't do it. Like people just croak. No joke. People will just fucking croak off of it. Just don't do it. It's happening right now. Right now, in this country, there's probably like 4 or 5 people as we speak with EMTs doing chest compressions on them, trying to get them to wake up from a fucking opioid coma. Right now, as we speak. That's just the way it works. It's a fucking nightmare. Spice is popular in the UK. Synth weed zombifies people. Oh my god, synthetic weed is just awful. They should have dosed correctly, lol. No. Alright, well, say what you want. See, I didn't, but I was very lucky that, at least in my area, there was one drug that was pushed in my area when I was a teenager and really kind of vulnerable to that like lifestyle kind of party drug shit. It was meth. And I tried meth one time. And that's fucking saying something growing up where I grew up. A lot of people did meth. A lot of kids were doing meth. But it was very easy for me to avoid. Weed was, also ubiquitous being in California. And so I was into that. I was a total stoner. So when I was offered shit that I didn't want, it was very easy for me to be like, nah, man, I'm good. Thanks. I've never done meth, cocaine, or heroin. I know once you do that kind of stuff, you never go back. Learned that with LSD. Well, I've done 2 of those 3, and I was able to, walk away from both. Kratom, I don't know. I've taken it. I like it. Amphetamines were my favorite for a long time. Yeah, see, I can't fucking hang with that shit, dude. Skep G, you and me made a different stuff because I can't hang with amphetamines. I'm the other type, I'm the other type of person. I'm looking for the dopey kind of downer stuff. That's what I need. You know what I mean? That weed is a good supplement for that. It gives me a little bit of fucking, relaxation in my life because the way that I'm wired like a fucking complete maniac. My brain will eat itself. It really will. Oh my god, I can't even imagine UK weed. It's just terrible. Can you describe being stoned? It depends on like your tolerance and shit. Like a lot of people will sit and watch me smoke a lot of weed, and I'll get eventually to a point where I'm just like, whoa, okay, I've got a high concentration of THC. You know what I mean? I'm pretty stoned. But there are people out there watching me that would be that stoned off of one rip of this. and I've been hitting this all night. So my fucking tolerance is different from everybody else's. Not everybody else's, but it's just, that's just the way it works, right? So being stoned for me, I don't know. It's like having ask a stoner, like, describe being stoned. Watch him go like, I don't know, man. It's there's a pain reduction component to it. Like I can tell you that like when I'm high, the muscles in my back, which are usually kind of knotted and shit because I have a really bad posture and really bad scoliosis, everything feels a little looser. Like there's kind of a numbing effect. There's also a deliberate kind of thought pattern that it helps me to kind of get into, that helps me focus, I guess, at times when otherwise it would be hard for me to do. Loosening your grip, but only a little, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Dude, I'm at the end of a long ass shooting week and my voice is fucking shred. Dude, I went back and tried to listen to the last stream I did and I heard this and I was like, oh my fucking God, bro. Maybe I should just whisper to you guys. What the fuck are you talking about, you asshole? Somebody ban that motherfucker. Jesus Christ. We're killing the fucking planet. Do you understand? Wake up. Whispers McGee, yeah. Yeah, dude, at the end of these long shooting cycles, my voice is just like... But that's fine. I will survive. Would love to microdose with you guys. Huh? I don't microdose. I macrodose. As an actor, how do you fix your voice when needed? Don't smoke cigarettes. Don't smoke harsh-ass weed. And take breaks. So I do one of the three. If I was actually depending on my voice for a specific like professional voice acting gig, I probably would have like a vocal coach who would help me like walk me through vocal exercises and shit. But as it stands, when you talk as much as I do for a living and you're kind of abusive of your throat, the only thing that you can do is to try and take breaks in between, which I do a very poor job of. I know. I got to get back on the vape. You're right. I got to hit that vape again. I got to start hitting that bubblicious grape again, man. Eat Jello and massage your throat. You think? Yeah, the humidity thing is definitely something that I do. And that is one of the things that causes me to be so croaky, is that I spend a lot of time sitting out here and I live in a very dry climate. But my bedroom is super humidity controlled. I've got like a really nice humidifier in there and an air purifier in there that runs 24/7. So my bedroom is like this nice little zone. So I'm not sucking it all up when I'm sleeping, you know what I mean? Yeah, I keep my bedroom at like 50% humidity, I think, like just below it, like 48% humidity. And then I run that air purifier 24/7, 365. In Louisiana, everywhere is 90% humidity. Yeah, you don't need it there. But here it's dry as fuck. So I typically do my recording early in my day. And so you guys are hearing me at the back end of a long recording day, right? And this is what my voice sounds like at the end of the day. But on the show, I typically sound better than this. There are some days where my voice is pretty raggedy, but usually you guys hear that out here because number one, out here it's way fucking less humid, and it's at the end of my day. So I've blown out my voice yelling, laughing, talking all day already. I don't dab, no. I need to get a little dab rig because I've been gifted some wax and I have no way to fucking consume it right now. I want to hear Paul on helium. Oh my god, dude, that would be kind of funny. I've done the helium voice before, but I also don't want to really suck helium either. It's not really good for you. Have you seen UFOs zipping across the sky at night? No. Yeah, there is a gas that makes your voice deeper. I can't remember which one it was, but I remember seeing a YouTube video where some dork inhaled it. It was like, hey, what's up? Dude, I would never inhale anything called sulfur hexafluoride, bro. Dude, I'm not doing that shit. Dude, I'm not inhaling any fucking weird gases. Thank you very much. What's going on? I just inhaled sodium hexafluoride calcitrate. Yeah, under the fucking supervision of an anesthesiologist, okay? I'll take some gas. Xenon is inert. I don't really care, dude. Dude, I did whippets a lot. Dude, you shouldn't do whippets. Me and my friends did the fucking whippet devil's dance for like probably 3 or 4 months before we all just kind of realized, like, all right, we need to probably not do whippets anymore. Dude, we did the whippet dance for like like a good 3, 4 months when I was a dude, total brain damage. Dude, I probably like would have been a fucking doctor or some shit had I not done whippets. Yeah. Dude, I might have been the dude that invented the machine that saves the world, but I did whippets. Think about that. Whippets were like dying, bro. You'd black out giggling and then have like a kind of a blackout moment and then you come out of it. It's fucking horrible. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stop. No whippets. Bad whippets. You did the duster, bro? Don't do that either. Feels like I'm walking on sunshine. That's all. That's all I can think of when I think of somebody doing whippets. The duster lady, dude. Feels like I'm walking on sunshine. I'm walking on sunshine. It feels like I'm walking on sunshine. I gotta find that. Is that episode exist anywhere, man? I want to watch that episode tonight. I'm gonna try and find it before I go to bed. I'm gonna see if it's out there. I think it is out there. I'm walking on sunshine. Oh my God, bro. Whippets make me think of Andy Milonakis's character in the movie Waiting. Oh yeah, because they're all passed out on whippets in the freezer. What time is it here? I don't know a clock. I don't know. It's I'm a grown up and don't have a bedtime o'clock here. What time is it there? I'm walking on sunshine. I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, and don't it feel good? Mm, 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 mm. All right, I'm out of here. See you later.